Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lionel here. Today I have another fragrance review for you. I just did one yesterday. I'm going to do one today. I don't think I'll get to one tomorrow or Friday, so this may be my last two for a few weeks until just everything slows back down again. So I happen to be on vacation this week, so I decided to take advantage of a little time. That I really don't have, given everything that's on the plate. But anyway, let's get into it. This one comes from the House of Montale, and it is called Oud Lime. Now, I ended up getting this decant, and I have about 8 more samples from Surrender to Chance. They had a really good deal on Montale samples. I ended up getting Oud Lime and Chypre Vanille and um, Chypre Fruit and patchouli leaves. I think that's the name of it. Maybe patchouli leaves. So I ended up getting, and I'm going to review each of those. I did get a couple of samples. No, actually, someone else sent me some red oud, and I'm just going to kind of compare those. The red oud, the oud musk, the black oud, and this one because those are the only four Montale ouds that I actually happen to smell before. So I smelled a lot of ouds, but from the house of Montale, the four ouds I've smelled are oud lime, black oud, um, a red oud, and oud musk. So now this is considered a woody spicy, and you can get all of this information from Fragrantica. Pierre Montale is the supposed perfume. Um, but all the Montale stuff, who knows? There's some Montale conspiracy or something, who knows? Anyway, I'm going to stick with what Fragrantica has. So, oud lime. Let's get into the notes real quick. You have oud, patchouli, sandalwood, rose, amber, saffron, and iris. Now, based off of those notes, there's no lime in it, so why would it be called oud lime? And I'll get into it in a second. So, as it relates to the other ouds, I think of the four that I've smelled, red oud seems to be the smoothest. Next would be in line would be maybe this one, then oud musk, then black oud being the roughest of the four that I've encountered. Each of the four both actually perform about the same as it relates to longevity. Projection, I think black oud takes the cake in that one. So but of all those four, I definitely think that you can own all four of those, and they will not have the redundancy that you have in a lot of the other Montale ouds. So luckily, the four that I've got my nose on are different enough to own each one. If you like that type of composition. So with that said, let's get into Montale oud lime. Now, oud lime doesn't have lime in it, based off the note composition that I've read, or the note listings that I've read. However, I think it could be the iris, saffron, patchouli, or something, giving it this sharp line because it opens with this very bright, almost, synthetic, but very bright, sharp line note. It's a very sharp, citrusy type of note that it opens up with, and it is immediately accompanied with Montale signature oud, as what you get in black oud and the other ouds that I've smelled. Now, I would say this: I think this oud, or maybe just a combination of notes, doesn't go as harsh to my nose as say black oud or oud musk. Those two are quite a punch in the nose as it relates to oud fragrances. Um, and I of the ouds that I've encountered that has that harshness, oud Isfahan from Dior is probably the roughest oud. I still like Montale's ouds, at least those four, more than I've liked Dior's oud and leather oud, leather oud and that oud. They're harsh. Not bad scents, they're just very, very hard if you're not used to it, like pure oud or something. So anyway, as you spray this, you're immediately uh, uh, blasted with that sharp lime type of note, and immediately this oud comes in, and these two notes are sort of they're at each other's neck, and you're getting these two very distinct notes. Within about 5 minutes into the fragrance, maybe a little longer, maybe 10 minutes, 5, 10, I guess it depends on your skin. But anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes, I started the signature rose that Montale has kind of comes in, and as that starts to mix, it starts to get a little sweeter, a little more floral, but with that signature oud, it just it sounds like I'm explaining Montale's black oud, but I'm not. They're similar, some overlap, but it's distinct enough from black oud that the oud lime rose combination is making is very unique, very beautiful, very creamy type of scent. Um, the next note that I'm aware of is the sandalwood, and like sandalwood to me, I really need to smell some pure sandalwood fragrances. But sandalwood to me kind of has that what's the word, creamy, fizzy, something kind of woody vibe. Um, and the sandalwood in here does the same exact thing as I've encountered the sandalwood and like some of the bonds and some of the other fragrances like that. So the sandalwood comes in and it gets creamy and woody, and this patchouli's there mixing with the oud. You have to really understand Montale's patchouli and oud combinations because it gives this really distinct earthy, woody smell. You know, that's sort of that's a bit spicy. It's sort of a spicy oud. So now you have this spiciness with this creaminess and this rose there, and they're just all kind of blending. And then the saffron is giving it that sweetness. It's every time rose, oud, and saffron uh, uh, rose, oud, and saffron are together, it sort of gives that same effect as you would smell a New York oud from Bond, or even rose oud from the House of Killian. So you kind of have that combination, but this sandalwood is kind of giving it this really creaminess, and the patchouli is kind of giving it a spicy, almost incense vibe. So that's where I was going. A lot of the Montales sort of have this incense vibe, though it doesn't list incense as a note. Um, then here we go. Here's where starts to get really sexy for me. It's this amber comes in and it just gets sweet, right? And now it's sweet, amber, creamy, and it still has this edge of sharpness. I mean, that lime is burnt off, but you still kind of have this sharpness, the sharpness citrus type of feeling going on. I mean, and as it combines, it just sort of explodes on my skin, and that first, that I tell you what, that first hour is a little rough. The first hour is that if you don't like black oud, if you don't like those types of fragrances, the Dior oud that I've referred to, if you don't like those, rose oud, just avoid this fragrance. Stay as far away from it as possible. You will not like this fragrance. It just doesn't have, it will not appeal to you if you do not like that. But if you like that, then you're gonna love the heart. You're gonna love that hour into this because it just gets sweet and creamy and oody, and it is just this blend of just beautiful, gorgeous, woody sweetness with some florals and some sharpness. And that's all I can explain. I really don't get any iris. The iris may be contributing to that lime note. But I don't. As an individual note, I do not smell it at all. I don't get it. I don't know where it is. It's just not there. I really get this creamy, ambery, oody, rosy, saffron fragrance, sort of as if I was trying to think of two fragrances that I know. Man, I can't even come. I couldn't come to it because I smelled it, and I've smelled this kind of combination, but with the oud and the rose, that wasn't in there. That sharpness wasn't there. That oudiness wasn't there. Um, so as it goes, as it starts to pull in, and I'm talking about 6 hours, what you're left with is a woody, sweet rose, very reminiscent of things you get from Montale. It's probably, where Montale's black oud is in 12 hours, I guess, is what you get at about the 6 hour mark. Now, let's get into longevity. Longevity, unrecordable. I'll just forget it unless you wash it off. It's going to be there. The projection off the charts, I'll give it a 10. I give it a 10 on projection. I give it a 10 on longevity. Scent. Scent, I'll probably go about an 8. I'll probably go about an 8 on a scent. Just because it does overlap with some of the other rose, oud, saffron type of fragrances. There is some similarities. So it's nothing spectacular. It's nothing new. It's nothing, um, 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 you know, it's not uncharted water. It's just unique enough that you can own a few of them. Just not unique enough as a fragrance that it is that it's somehow groundbreaking. Um, um, Compliment factor. I've not worn this fragrance and never got a compliment. Now, the flip side of that, my wife despises it. She despises oud fragrances. She says something about, she always says eucalyptus when I wear any type of oud, rose combinated type fragrances. So she doesn't like this one. I'll tell you that. And if your significant other doesn't like that type of combination, if you put on, get a sample of black oud, put it on, and have them smell it, and they don't like that, then avoid this fragrance unless you just want to get it for yourself. But if you want to get it from them, the funny thing is, all of my coworkers, even my male coworkers, happen to compliment me on this fragrance. They really, 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 really like it. And they all found Oud Isfahan very, very challenging to their nose. So um, this one is definitely different than that one because they found this one, and even Black Oud receives a ton of compliments. They just found Oud Isfahan. Now, I did go 4 sprays with Oud Isfahan, so that could be some of the problem. So I'll just refrain from beating that fragrance up. It is a really good fragrance. Glad I have it, and I will wear it a lot, especially in the winter. But back to Oud Lime. The projection 10, longevity 10, versatility, oud and rose. It's not fresh, so let me tell you that. In Texas in the summer, if I wear that, it'll be one spray to the back of the neck, and that'd probably be the gist of it. Maybe I go one in the back of the neck, and I always wear a tank top underneath my shirt. I may spray that and put a shirt over it. Maybe. It's still beast mode as relates to projection. So still, I mean, it will leave. My funny thing is, I typically spray. I get to work, I'll spray in my car, and then I get out of my car. My coworker said she pulled up next to my car and said she knew I was there about 10 minutes later. So she said it was just in the air. So it definitely leaves a trail for sure. So then another coworker said she smelled me on the elevator, and she had just got into work like 20 minutes later. So it definitely has that appeal to it. It's definitely bubblicious as it relates to what kind of fillers you're gonna get. Um, you would definitely fragrance a common area for sure. I would not wear this to the movie. I would not wear this to dinner. I would not wear this to a place where there's going to be really close people and it's just there's too much going on, right? You want to be able, if you don't want anybody smelling, you don't want anybody. I would avoid. So I would avoid those types of places unless you're going to go with about one spray. So um, one maybe two tops two, and it better be cold outside even then. Um, Overall, I'll give this fragrance a 8.5 because you're going to go 6 as it relates to versatility. Um, 7 as it relates to versatility. I just see it very hard to wear in some places. Um, Scent itself, I gave it an 8.5. Everything else, I'll give it a 10. Um, Overall, very great fragrance. Very glad I purchased it. Price point is I think 160 mils. You go to men, you can get it for maybe 132, 138 shipped. For the 100 mil, using Rose or Fragrance Brothers, one of those type of codes. So that's Oud Lime. Again, you can find it Aoud Lime, and you can find it at Perfume Spot, Perfume One, Men.com, Lucky Scent. I'm pretty sure. So I really greatly appreciate you guys' time. Sorry, I really want to keep this about 8 minutes. I got the rambling, so I'm at 15 minutes. God bless. Enjoy your Thanksgiving again. See you guys soon. Peace.